This is the Renaissance Men Podcast, broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch. Now please welcome your host, Stuart Garrard.
Good evening and welcome to the Renaissance Men Podcast for April the 8th, 2022. I am your host, Stuart Garrard, and joining me this week, as ever, is my good brother, Jimmy the Saint.
Oh,
Not quite the reaction.
I don't know what to think of that. That's
Big
fine.
hit.
Kids cheer me. Kids cheer me.
Big hit with the kids.
But yeah, I try not to be. I try not to be.
Jimmy the Saint, how are you? How the devil are you? How's your week been, my friend?
It's been good.
Cheers, by the way.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. It's it's lovely to be here. It's been a busy week. Obviously, we had to try and get WrestleMania completed, which lasted. It was like running a marathon trying to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
And we did our botch cast, didn't we? Which is out there for people to go and have a look. I'm sure that will be in the link in the comments below, where me and Stu discussed WrestleMania 38 in all its glory. It was glorious, wasn't it? It was glorious.
It was stupendous, Jimmy, is what it was.
It was stupendous. It was stupendous, much like you.
Yeah.
And what else have I been up to? I did some filming this week. Me and my cousin, Matthew Early. We did some filming, with one of his original characters, a little 15-minute short about a chap who runs a cleaning company called Derek Season, who runs All Seasons Cleaning. And we filmed that. So that was fair, and usual work as well. But it was
Had
fun
time
week.
for a bit of work.
I squeezed in a little bit. How about yourself?
Do you know what? I always come to this segment in the show and I'm thinking, well, what the bloody hell have I done? And then I come to the conclusion, well, not a great deal, to be honest. And it's just symptomatic of how my life is. But no, work as usual. WrestleMania, like you say. I'm bloody tired though. It's been one of those weeks. I'm just shagged out. Not literally, but you know what I mean.
Literally.
Just knackered. No.
That bed behind you, Stu, is looking pretty crumpled. Has it been seeing some egg action? Well, Stu, seeing as you're knackered, should we just have a little nap?
Should we just cool off?
Because my mum said I look knackered as well. So maybe we'll just have a little nap, and people can just listen to us snoring.
Yeah, just make your own podcast up. Just recreate it in your head. I'm sure it'll be fine. Probably better than what we can come up with, to be fair. But no, I'm off next week. That's the crux of my tale. Is the Easter holidays have now upon us. Benjamin has broken up now for 2 weeks. I was going to ask you, because I've heard rumours that in Essex they started last week.
Yes, my 100 children have been on Easter holidays last week and
nice.
Next week.
Yeah, there we go. It's very strange, isn't it, how that works? I don't know why that is. The government don't want bands of children just roaming the country.
Is there date differences between counties? Like when the clocks go forward, does something happen? No, I guess not.
No, I don't know. I don't quite know if you know how large the country is. We're not talking the United States. It's not like 8 hours between coast to coast. We're different time zones. But no, I'm looking forward to that. We haven't got a great deal planned, but we might, we'll do the usual holiday family shenanigans. Maybe taking a trip to the zoo, a trip to the beach or two. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, just looking forward to not being at work.
Bit of dogging,
if we're lucky. Yeah, you never know.
Squeeze in. Squeeze in a bit of dogging.
Yeah, if we can, it'll be great. Other than that, I've been playing some video games this week, which I'll be talking about later. A video game I've been looking forward to for a long while.
Mm-hmm.
So, all good, Jimmy. Thank you for asking. But this is this is the Renaissance Men Podcast. Let me just start off by welcoming Holly to the chat. I know Holly is there. welcome, Holly. She's put in a bonus question for us in the chat, which we'll look to answer if you like, Holly, if we get time later on. Thank you, Holly. Just bring up. Oh, I've done that a bit dark, haven't I? That's not showing up very well. I've been tinkering.
Well, I can't even see it, Stu.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on my side, but can we ask Holly if she can actually see the question and see the branding? Because all I can see is our faces.
That's a very good point, Holly. Can you see the usual background and the RM in the corner? Does it look as it should? Because we don't know. We're not sure. And as you are our only viewer, if you could just
currently,
they'll
come.
They'll come.
If we build it, they will come.
Yep. But yeah, if this is your first time here, please do like and subscribe. But with that being said, let's kick off with our usual first segment of the show, and that is
Ask Us Anything.
Still brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, even after 2 long weeks, it's still brilliant.
Good. Holly says it looks fine to her, so thanks, Holes. We're good. Just Jimmy. It's probably that island internet again, Jimmy.
Yep.
Causes a lot of problems for us, I'm telling you. You know, sort that pipe work out. But again, back to Holly. She's submitted 2 questions for us from
Greedy
the Facebook
guts.
group. I know, didn't she just? But thank God she did, because we had none as of like 7 o'clock this morning. So thank you, Holly. She is our emergency question asker. And Holly submitted these on Facebook, so you can come over to facebook.com/groups/Renaissancecast and ask your question, or on Twitter, twitter.com/Renaissancecast. Holly's first question is, it's a 2-pronged attack, really, because I think they both kind of follow on from each other, Jimmy. Her first question asks, can you describe what your perfect day would be?
I thought it was, what was your perfect day?
Oh, okay. I may have told you wrong. Well, we'll go with what was your perfect day?
I haven't had it yet, I presume. Otherwise, I would just kill myself.
Still waiting.
What would be a perfect day? That's a good question. That's a good one. I mean, you told me the question was, what was your best day ever? That's what you told me the question was. And that's what I told our celebrity. That's what I told our celebrity guest. The question was.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We'll go with that.
Well, I'll do both quickly. My best day ever was my wedding day.
Of course.
Because I've got, as you know, I've got about 100 kids. So all of those births just all mold into one. You know, I can't even remember most of their names. So the wedding day was the best day. What would be my perfect day? Ooh, that's a good question, isn't it? So that's a long question. That's a whole show in itself, isn't it? Because they do. There's a podcast I listen to where it's like, what would be your perfect meal? And it's a good sort of hour and a half where they break down, you know, appetizer, starter, blah. And we've got to start. Yeah, we've got to start with what time to get out of bed. Big Mac meal. Big Mac and the Sun. Copy of the Sun. So we'll rattle through it quick, Stu. We should do it together, I think.
Okay.
Perfect day. So let's start. What time do you get up on your perfect day?
I like to get up early, so I'm thinking 7.
Yep, I'll get up
make the most of the day.
Yeah, I'll get up at 7 as well. Breakfast.
Okay. Bowl of Cocoa Pops.
On your perfect day?
Yes.
Bowl of Cocoa Pops.
Indeed.
Right. I think your perfect day is going to be the same as my 7-year-old son's perfect day. So my perfect breakfast is...
I think we've got to be instinctive with our answers. Don't think about it too much.
Sorry. Fried egg and bacon sandwich.
I didn't mean to rush you.
No, it's my favourite sandwich. Fried egg and bacon sandwich.
Okay.
Next, do you see your son in the morning?
No.
Have him and the wife already gone out for the day?
Yes, ideally.
You really are answering off the cuff, aren't you? My perfect day. I come downstairs. The egg and bacon sandwich is already made for me. It's ready on the table.
And they've gone.
No, the kids are there, but they're just in the lounge, all happily watching a film with some whatever, some popcorn at that time in the morning, and the wife hands me a glass of prosecco
Okay.
with the egg and bacon sandwich.
At 7 o'clock in the morning. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm going hard. Hard. Okay, so that takes us to about 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Does the kid go to school or not? Yours isn't even in. Where is your kid? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so 9 o'clock comes round. You've had 2 hours for breakfast and just walking around in the nude.
Eating Cocoa Pops.
Yeah,
Endlessly.
eating an entire box. You just pour milk into the box. What's next, Stu?
Oh God. Okay, I turn on the PlayStation.
Oh, he's off. Yep. Yep, still with my 7-year-old. And what game you playing?
Oh God. I don't know. I don't know. And it doesn't matter. Oh, do I have to be this specific? Okay, I'll go the Avengers game. Why not?
Avengers game. Nice. Do you know what? I'm going to have a wonderful, like, Mary Poppins woman come round to look after the kids.
Service you.
And then me and the missus are going to go to the cinema in the morning. That's what we're going to do.
Yep.
We're going to go to the cinema and watch the latest Star Wars movie that hasn't come out yet. So on the perfect day, a new Star Wars movie comes out.
I'll do that in the afternoon, but on my own.
Okay. So you just play through gaming till lunchtime. What happens at lunchtime? What do you eat? Or are you full up on Cocoa Pops?
I'll probably have the Big Mac meal, I would say. Yeah. Strawberry milkshake. Large. Yeah.
Do you go to McDonald's or
yeah, I would go there. I would go there first and then go to the cinema to see Star Wars 10.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So I've been to see Star Wars 10, and then I'm going to go for lunch, and I'm going to go for, what's my favourite meal? Oh, I mean, how drunk am I at this point? I've been drinking heavily since 7. I'm gonna go for like I'm gonna go to London and go up the Shard to the Chinese restaurant up the Shard.
Okay.
With still with my wife. Yeah. Still got the wife with me. In a limo, and there's a TV in the back of the limo, and me and my wife all to London in a limo make sweet love.
Okay. You're lost.
So we have the Chinese meal. You have your McDonald's. You go and watch Star Wars 10. Then what? So you watch your Star Wars 10. I've finished my Chinese meal, and then I wouldn't mind going to the theatre as well. It's going to be a busy day.
Yeah, got a lot to fit in.
Do you know? I'm not going to go to the theatre. Me and the wife, after the Chinese meal, go.
What do you have for dinner, though? We haven't discussed dinner.
I'm going to have a light dinner because I had a big Chinese for lunch.
I'll go roast. I think. My mum's cooked roast. She can kind of deliver. I don't know. I don't know. What are the logistics of that? I don't think it works, Jimmy.
You can have someone else deliver it for you.
Okay, we'll do that. Someone can deliver my mum's roast dinner.
It's your perfect day. Who do you want to bring it?
Smush it through the letterbox because I don't really want to talk to anyone on this day.
Send a mute. Blind deaf mute turns up. Helen Keller turns up.
Just spelling out roast dinner on a palm.
She's actually asking for a tip. Okay, you're having a roast. Do you know, I wouldn't mind a roast, but I have had that big Chinese meal, so I need to get back. I need to get back from London, I think. Because I feel like I should see the kids.
Not worth it, mate. Not worth it. It's your day.
You're right. I've seen them in the morning watching the film. Screw it. After the Chinese, we have a little wander about a park. That'll be nice. And then I'd like to go to the theatre with a group of my friends and partners and stuff, and then to a lovely karaoke bar afterwards, where we can where we can chat and drink and laugh and stuff, and then stay in a hotel for the night.
Nice. I would watch about 3 episodes of Columbo and have an early night.
Yep. Does your wife get home in the morning?
I suppose so. Yeah. I can deal with that. So that's fine.
There we go. That was an ordeal.
The perfect. Oh, such a perfect day.
I'm glad I spent it with no one.
Let's welcome John Simmons into the chat. Hello, John.
Big Johnny S.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Cats and hammers.
It's from Alan Partridge. When the big question is, what animal would you see extinguished off the earth, and what would be the form of their demise? And Domingo from Little Oakley simply says cats and hammers.
Nice. Yeah, we do. I do model this show after Mid Morning Matters, I have to say. You are psychic Simon, psychic Jimmy.
We've also got the celebrity answer, haven't we?
Yes, I beg your pardon. Yeah, you've tapped into your celebrity links again.
I've tapped into it. Yep.
Oh, I don't know if you know. Yep. Jimmy went to
drama school. Drama school.
Sorry.
A lot of drama schools are closing down at the moment. Big news. It's probably not the sort of news we discuss on here, but a lot of funny things going on, closing down drama schools. I guess acting's a dying profession, really. What with deep fake CGI and sexual scandal, and you've got to punch someone out to win an Oscar these days. It's a dangerous place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I did ask one of my celebrity friends, what was their perfect day?
Yeah.
And I reached out to many people, but only one person replied, and it was again Brian Blessed. So I'll just play that down the microphone.
Yeah.
This was his perfect day.
Okay.
Hello, nerds. Yes, that's right, it's me. Hello, nerds. Yes, that's right, it's me again, Brian Blessed. My best day ever. Right. Venue, London Zoo. Me, Terry Nutkins, and a silverback gorilla called Gertrude. All I say is, the term Dirty Gertie was born that day.
There you go.
Dirty Gertie, and a bit of Boss Nass in there as well.
Yeah.
You went all
interesting
Boss
days.
Nass. Yeah.
Terry Nutkins and Brian Blessed there.
Thanks, Brian. Holly also then goes on to asks, and I think she's suffering the effects of a hangover at the moment. So we are doing a public service for the poor girl. How do you cure the hangover from hell?
Well, Stu, just before we go on to that, which we must do, got a comment in the comment section there. Alex Roth says your best days were awful.
Okay.
But what was your best day then, Alex Roth? Because I'd be surprised if it was dissimilar to Stu's. But exchange Cocoa Pops for peanut butter sandwiches and playing games to furiously masturbating. That I think you've got your. I think you've got it. But sorry, Stu. Yes, you were saying.
What was I saying? Oh yes, we need. I need Jimmy. I need your cure for the hangover from hell, please. What we got? Hangover cures. I still maintain I've never been hungover ever.
What?
Never. I never blacked out or anything. Never. I've been sick,
Yeah. You've never laid in bed the next day with a fast beating heart.
Oh yeah.
Just thought I'm gonna die. I think I'm going to die. I don't think I'm going to make it. You've never had that?
Well, yeah, I've had that. Is that I get
What do you think a hangover is?
I don't know. It just the way people go on about it. They say like I've blacked out or I've never drunk to the point where I can't remember what's happened.
Wow.
I guess the point. Yeah, never.
Wow.
Why would you get that far?
Well, to be honest, mate, I can have like 6-7 beers and not remember a lot of the night.
Really?
Yeah. I guess it's different. I can handle a lot of drink in terms of coming across quite, all right. But in terms of the next day going, where did we go? Oh, there's a stamp on my hand that says I went to that club, but and there's a bruise on my arse where I've been booted out. I wish I had a hangover cure. I have not got one. I know that throwing up at some point does make me feel a hell of a lot better, and I have to bring
days.
it on, as The Rock would say.
Just bring it.
Just bring it here. Oh yeah, Bring It On's a film about cheerleading. They probably did that.
Yeah.
I haven't got one, but I know the thing that I like to eat when I'm hungover is just white bread, butter, corned beef. That is and maybe a bit of cucumber in there, like sort of got a nice fresh bloody taste to it. That can help me. That can help me.
Do you know what? Mine's really boring. I got through my stag do just by drinking loads of water and your booze. So I know it's a bit after the fact, Holly. I can't really help you, but just keep drinking water. And what you should have done is like have a pint of whatever it is you're drinking, gin, and then have a pint of water. Like stagger it that way. You last
I've
longer.
heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that, and it makes complete sense. And so many people say it, but when you're out, it's quite hard to stick to that. But
and you're always pissing. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
Always.
But
always.
But I've heard, yeah. And white spirits as well. So yeah, vodka or gin, and then your pint of water, then vodka and gin, your water.
Yeah.
So I think beer, a mix in drinks obviously gets you more messed up. We've got a comment in the comments here. Alex Roth says his best day was our friend Vasyl Tchaikovsky's wedding day, which is a bit weird that his best day was someone else's wedding day and not his wedding day.
Yeah. Welcome to Colin Doolan. Hello, Colin. Welcome to the fun and shenanigans on a Friday night. Please, people in the chat, do put in your hangover cures for Holly to help her out. Help the girl out. She's
help the alcoholic.
She also got stuck in a lift this week. I know that.
Oh,
I know. I'm
sure there's a question in there somewhere as well. We'll save that for next Friday.
Yeah. What was her bonus question? Let's go back.
Well, I have actually got another answer to that question.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I'll get used to this at some point. Sorry, Jimmy.
That's fine. It's a new feature. Again, I reached out to my celebrity friends for an answer to what's the hangover cure. Again, only one of them came back to me. It was Brian Blessed again. And he said this is his hangover cure.
Okay.
Best hangover cure. After a night on the vodkas, I was in the Antarctic, and it was very early one morning, and it was 70 degrees below zero, and I had to have a shit with a wind chill of 70. Jesus Christ! I thought that sobered me up all right.
There you go.
Right. Physical pain.
Physical pain, freezing your genitalia off. So I guess you could simulate that, Holly, by dropping your privates into an ice bucket.
Yep. See, let us know how that goes. Thank you, Holly, for your questions. As always, head over to the Facebook and Twitter pages at Renaissance Cast and post your questions. I usually put a reminder up midweek. That would be wonderful. That was... No, I pressed the wrong button.
Ask us anything.
There we go. Sorry about that. But Jimmy, now that we've asked, provided that public service and answered our audience's questions, let's talk about the Week in Geek.
The Week in Geek.
Jimmy. Shall we talk about Moon Knight first? Because why not, eh?
Yeah, go for it. Let's go for it.
Jimmy, I still don't know what's going on. I'm still massively confused with Moon Knight. Episode 2.
Did you definitely watch Moon Knight? and not accidentally watch something else.
Moonlighting, as we thought.
Moonlighting with Bruce Willis
Yeah.
and Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah, Bruce Willis was in it. What's going on? Moon Knight episode 2, released on Wednesday, obviously, as it has been, and will continue to do so for the next God knows how many weeks. Kind of obviously left off carried on where the first episode left off with Stephen, our main character, who is played by Oscar Isaac, with a strange English-British accent. And he is like we explained last week, he works like a low-level job at the British Museum, been suffering some strange blackouts and occurrences and visions of these an Egyptian god, kind of having conversations with his alter ego that he's got, and this plot kind of developed further in this episode. But Jimmy, can you explain better what I'm trying to explain? What happened in episode 2?
No. Well, okay. So in this episode, we learned more than what we had before. First episode was what's going on to Stephen, wasn't it? What's going on with Stephen? Why does he chain himself to a bed? Why does he keep these blackouts? How has he ended up where did he end up at one point? Belgium or something like that.
And
we saw this Egyptian god. What we learned this week was Stephen has another identity. It was actually announced, I think, this week by Disney, but I presume it's been in the comics before, that the character of Stephen has DID, which we've spoken about on the podcast before, dissociative identity disorder.
Yes, I did read this.
So what used to be known as multiple personality disorder.
Right.
So he has that, and obviously there's, so far, I don't know if later on in the comics we get more identities, but his other identity, Mark Stryker, Spector.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think it was Mark Spector.
Yeah,
is a mercenary and basically, a weapons expert and a martial arts expert or whatever else he is. He has become a Spectre, right?
Spectre. Yeah, you are
Spectre,
right.
Mark Spector.
You're right.
He has become a avatar for this
Khonshu.
Yes, this ancient Egyptian god Khonshu, who passes judgment on people after they've done some bad stuff. And he doesn't enjoy doing it, does he? He doesn't. It's a bit of a curse to Mark. He doesn't want to do it anymore. And the reason why he's still doing it is Khonshu has his eyes on Mark's wife.
Yeah, Layla.
And he says, she'll be my next avatar if you don't carry on doing stuff.
Yeah.
And Stephen finds out all of this, and Stephen meets this wife that his other identity has got. And lots happened. I really enjoyed it. Great conversations between Mark and Stephen. At one point, Mark had control of the body, and Stephen was in the mirrors talking to him and was saying, this is horrible being in the mirrors. I can barely move. So you learn a little bit about what's happening when the identity's just looking in, just doing that piece. Apparently, Oscar Isaac did quite a lot of research into DID because it is a serious thing. It is a real thing. That's how it went, really. I haven't given a huge amount away. I'd say watch it because it's too much to unpack, really, isn't it?
Very engrossing. And that's kind of what I've taken away from the first 2 episodes. I can't remember if this is the tact I went down on last week, but yeah, I'm very engrossed by it all. Not even if I don't know exactly what's going on or following the plot incredibly well, but as I just proved. But yeah, it's engrossing and well acted, and it's the writing is kind of on point, and just it's not. There's no dull moments, although there's not a massive amount. There's not a great deal of action, I would say, for like typical Marvel fare. But I'm still really engrossed by what's going on. I think it's important to say that by the end of the episode, that like the roles had kind of switched, hadn't they? So Mark had assumed the more prominent role, and Stephen, the English guy, the shy English retiring type, who was kind of banished to the mirrors and the reflections. So Mark had kind of taken on the personality. So it'll be interesting to see where that leads. But yeah, I continue to love it, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think next episode will probably be Mark focused as the main host with the Stephen in the Mirror. Ethan Hawke, I thought was great again as the main villain. And what was lovely was even Ethan Hawke got Stephen and took him to his this town that used to be a mess full of crime and everything, and he's turned it into a utopia, it would seem. And he's walking him through, and food is free, and they grow their own stuff. And
everyone seemed to love him as well. I love Ethan Hawke's character. What's his Arthur Harrow?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you felt the same, but I thought, oh, he's quite a nice chap, really.
Yeah.
You know,
which was great, right? That was lovely having a villain who had, again, a decent purpose, and we found out his purpose. He worships a different god, another god of judgment, and she would be a judge that judges people before they do an act of evil. So it's like, okay, so a bit like the film Minority Report. Yes, but that is the problem that Stephen comes up with, isn't it?
Yes.
If she would judge children, and if she judged them that later on in life they will do evil things, then Booker, she will take them out.
Booker T.
Yeah, she will take them out. And then Stephen says, is everyone behind this? Because this is going to be killing kids. So it's good. It's a nice, he sort of spots a plot hole in the villain's armor, as it was.
I like that. It's kind of gives it layers, doesn't it? You know, I love a villain where you can kind of almost empathize with. It makes it, when they do bad stuff, it kind of gets you thinking a bit more, and you know, it just adds another layer to the character. So I think what we've mentioned in previous Marvel shows before, Jimmy, is that something lacking from those shows has been a good antagonist. So to have a good one, I think just adds to the quality of the show, to be honest. So yeah.
We also found out that Ethan Hawke's character, what do you call him? Ralph Lauren?
Arthur Harrow.
Arthur Harrow used to be the avatar for Khonshu, apparently. So he says. Yes. Because he seems to know what he would be saying. Because we sit here and see Khonshu talking in the form of like a big raven skull on a mighty spectral figure, don't we?
If you like.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe him. Or I could just sort of do that.
Either works.
That's what he's like, isn't he? But yeah, I agree. Again, me and the wife watched it together. It's the first, since WandaVision, it's the first Disney show that my wife started watching a bit with me whilst playing her computer game, and then is like, oh, we're going to watch that tonight. Because it's intriguing. It is interesting, isn't it? It is. Yeah,
it's good.
Great.
It was really good. We'll carry on our watch through as it continues each week.
I'll tell you what we also got in this episode, which I think our good friend Seddon wanted, was to see him in his suit.
Yes, it was a different look, wasn't it? Yeah.
So when she said suit up, Stephen suited up, and instead of going into the big sort of caped crusader character, he wore like a tight white cool suit with a tie and a white mask. He looked great, and that is from the comics. I know that. I don't know whether it's how that happens, but I thought that was a great look, and we got to see both looks, didn't we?
We did. He almost looked like a mime, didn't he? You wanted him to kind of start doing that, being in a glass box. But yeah, it's great. Great stuff. Jimmy, I want to hear about your trip to the cinema today.
Well,
because
is that what we're moving on to?
Yeah, why not, mate?
Well, if that's so, we're just saying keep watching Moon Knight. We'll keep going and watching it. Yeah, absolutely. As a clue to my cinema trip today, I'm drinking from this.
I like it. Yep.
And as a bigger clue,
Rambo.
I watched the new Rambo movie starring Sylvester Stallone. No, I went to see the new Fantastic Beasts movie, The Secrets of Dumbledore, or as I put on Facebook, The Secret Life of Albert Dumbledore. damn spell check. I went to the cinema to see that. It was my second time at the cinema since lockdown. It was the wife's first time, and that was not easy for the wife going there because it's been so long. And I know for a lot of people, our good friend Seddon hasn't been back to the cinema yet, has he? He's still waiting to go back because COVID is the highest it's ever been still, and people are dirty, and it's
Dirty.
it was tricky, but we were determined to go. It was the wife's birthday yesterday, which we celebrated.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Belated happy birthday.
She turned 16, so that was nice. And no, that makes me sound terrible. No, of course not. She's 35. So we made the effort. We went to cinema, and it was the first day it came out. I don't think I've ever seen a film on the first day it's come out before. I've always expected it to be packed, but it wasn't packed at all. And I'll tell you what, we were very excited because we're big Harry Potter fans. We are fans of the first Fantastic Beasts movie. The second one was quite a bit of a letdown, really.
Yeah.
This one was lovely stuff. I'll do a bit of a review without giving.
No, please do. Please
without
do.
spoiling it. So characters that are back. Newt Scamander is back. His friend Jacob Wachowski is back. His brother has a larger role. Newt Scamander's brother. His name is Theseus Scamander. Queenie's in it again. We get some new characters as well, and we get a lot of Albus Dumbledore, played by Jude Law. And obviously we have the disgraced Johnny Depp, even though, clearly it wasn't his fault why he got sacked. We have Mads Mikkelsen. Ironically, I think this should have been Mads Mikkelsen from the start, because watching this film, you put Johnny Depp in some of these scenes dressed as that bleached-haired, one white eye, Bowie-esque punk rock thing that he played in the sequel. It wouldn't have worked. It would have looked weird as fuck. This is much, much better with Mads Mikkelsen. I'll just say the first scene. There's Jude. There he is, beautiful. I loved Jude as Dumbledore. He plays it lovely.
He's a beautiful man.
He's a
Dumbledore.
He plays it very soft and kind with the twinkle in his eye that Dumbledore has, and he does it perfectly. I remember when they were talking about who they were going to cast, and Jude Law was sort of up there, and you're like, he plays it very softly and nicely. It's great. The opening scene. So do you remember after Harry Potter's had all come out, J.K. Rowling outed Dumbledore, didn't she?
Yes.
She went, yeah, he's gay. And then it was like, oh, he was in love with Gellert Grindelwald. And in the last film, they touched upon that. They sort of showed it a little bit, didn't they? When he was looking in the mirror that shows you what you most want. He saw Gellert. He saw Johnny Depp. It starts off this first scene in this film with Jude's Dumbledore sat in a very swanky sort of restaurant in his suit, looking lovely, cup of tea. I'm waiting for someone. And then Mads turns up, suited, booted, looking sexy like Mads Mikkelsen does. He's got a slight paler eye, nothing like what Depp had. And he sits down with Dumbledore, with Albert Dumbledore, and he says they have a bit of a conversation, and he says, "What?" And Grindelwald says, "Well, why did you go along with what I was doing back then?" And he says, Dumbledore says, "Because I loved you." Simple as that. They put it straight out there, straight away. It's like, I loved you. It's like, there's no tiptoeing around it. Dumbledore loved Grindelwald, and it's great. And if you picture that rock star Johnny Depp in that scene, why did you follow me around? It's like it wouldn't have worked at all. So this is perfect casting, second time round. Anyway, the film is fun, lots of good action, very funny again. Jacob Wachowski, is it Wachowski? Is charming and funny, and there's a lovely relationship between Newt and his brother in this one. In the last one, you couldn't really get anything from them really, but in this one, they have a lovely relationship. The storyline's a little bit thin. The threat doesn't feel that big. It's kind of weird. I think it's quite tricky because obviously the stuff with Voldemort in the Harry Potter films, the threat was looming. It was always looming of him coming back, and if he comes back, that's it. Whereas this, he's sort of known, and do you know what? The threat, I think, was because it was kids versus Voldemort. So you're following these kids against the boogeyman, whereas this is grown-ups against another grown-up. So the threat isn't really there. And I said to my wife Emma afterwards when we discussed it over dinner, I think it would have been better if he was at his peak, if Grindelwald was at his peak, like the Emperor and Darth Vader at the start of A New Hope.
Yeah,
the villains are in charge, and it's the plucky youngsters that have got to overthrow these villains, right? Even though the Emperor's not in New Hope, I know that. Don't put that in the comments. But because it's sort of Grindelwald's sort of rise, it's not that big a threat really. And that Dumbledore survives. That Grindelwald at some point is going to have the battle. You sort of know some stuff's going to happen. So it's quite tricky. It's like with the Star Wars prequels. It is tricky.
It's that prequel problem, isn't it? How do you make a narrative that people can engage and invest in when they know what's going to happen at the end?
Yeah. So I think with the first one, I thought was amazing, and it was Newt's story, and he had his fantastic beasts to help him, and we didn't need anything else. We didn't need Dumbledore or anything. This one was much more about Dumbledore, and we're now in that world rather than that nice little quaint area of Newt Scamander. So I think because they've grown the world, it's maybe become a bit weaker and a bit of thinner storyline.
Okay.
That said, I'm always happy to be in that world. And as soon as I see wands and hear the music, and it's directed lovely, it looks great. Great actors playing the parts. Newt Scamander, I think, is amazing. I think Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander is brilliant. I think it's a really sweet character. He plays it perfectly. My wife said she thinks it's the best sort of on-screen portrayal of someone who is neurodiverse as she's seen in anything. As you know, neurodiverse to other people who don't know means autistic. Because you can tell you can tell he's got that awkwardness, not looking at people in the eye and wearing his heart on his sleeve, and finds that comfort in animals. There's a lot of similarities there. It's great. It's good fun, and if you like Potter, it's lovely. It's great fun to be back in that world. So I highly recommend it.
Nice. I was gonna, because I haven't seen the second one, and I'm actually quite interested to kind of hear, without you spoiling. Try be as broad as you can be. How does the story progress on from Fantastic Beasts? What is the threat become? Is it?
So obviously the first one is about Grindelwald being revealed, isn't it? The second one, it starts with Grindelwald's escape, and then his attempted rise to bringing on followers and whatnot. Not a lot happens in the second one. That's why it's pretty crap. I mean, lots happens. Lots happened, but lots of nonsense bits that actually overall doesn't make for a good big story.
Sounds like a lot of filler.
Yeah, and stuff that's just like, what the hell is this now? what you're explaining to me now.
Mm.
But it's still worth a watch if you like Harry Potter. Of course it is, But then the third one is Grindelwald trying to become. I'll say this isn't ruining it.
Okay.
He's trying to become the head of. It's called something like the Wizarding Confederation or something. Something I hadn't heard of before. So, where in countries you have the different wizarding ministries, the Ministry of Magic in each country in America, which we see in America, obviously in the Potters, we see them in London. I think this is trying to say there's someone above all of them.
Oh, like FIFA.
Perhaps.
Yeah. That's how I would.
Is there one person in charge of FIFA?
Yeah. What was Sepp Blatter, wasn't it? Like almost like emperor-like in his evilness.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess like FIFA. So yes,
Got to put it in layman's terms for our audience, Jimmy.
So it's him and his journey there, Grindelwald's journey there.
Okay.
And it's nice. We see some nice battles, good special effects, good fun. As I say, the first one I thought was like it suddenly became like nearly one of my favorite films. Like certainly in the top sort of 50. It was brilliant. These two,
I've always found these films interesting on the level that they're written by J.K. herself, and just how they're received and actually how well written they are or not. I don't know. I guess it's a different skill writing, a novel to a short form screenplay. So I do always get quite interested in how her work comes across.
Did she write a script for this one?
Yeah.
Let's just have a quick look.
Co-written by J.K. and Steve Kloves. I don't know who Steve Kloves is.
Interesting. So she was involved in, yeah. Well, she's, her stories are great. Some of her scripts aren't amazing, but her stories are good. That guy who you just
Steve
mentioned,
Kloves. Yeah.
He wrote the screenplay for all of the Harry Potter films.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And The Amazing Spider-Man. And the Fantastic Beasts.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he has some chops within the wizarding world, then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Funny enough, Amanda's been doing a rewatch of the Harry Potters, and she's an absolute Potter nut. She loved the books growing up. Yeah, and I'd be quite interested in doing a rewatch of those myself, because I felt obliged to go along to the cinema with Amanda when we were first courting, to watch like the tail end of the Potter films, and I never really kind of got into them, but I don't know, they've kind of taken on a mystique for me where I'm intrigued by them to see kind of whether they would grab me, as a lover of deep lore as I am, and Jimmy, I do love my lore, and I'd be tempted to give them another go, just see if they do grab me the second or third time round. Whatever it may be, but yeah, I'm glad you liked it. You liked it.
It was good. It was, I think if you like Potter and you liked Fantastic Beasts, the first one, like definitely go and watch this one. If the second one brought you down a little bit, this will bring you back up.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Jimmy, for that. I think I'll round things off with what I've been up to this week, and
you must.
I must. I've been looking out for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I've been longing for this game ever since it was announced. God, I can't remember how long ago it was now, but it was announced, then it had been delayed and delayed and delayed. There'd been rumors of difficult development, and
how long do you reckon it has been? 2 years, 3 years? It's been a while, isn't it?
It's got to be a couple of years. And then
COVID would have delayed,
of course. Right? And then there's been rumors of like staff being kind of like not physically, literally crushed, but like pushed to get the game ready on time. So there's been high work pressures for people. So there's just a lot of negativity around this game. So your hype meter starts at 10, and then as these stories and you hear no news, it kind of gets chipped away. But it's Lego and it's Star Wars, so there's always that hope that it will be as good as those very first Lego Star Wars games, which I absolutely adored when they first came out. There's just something about them, those first games, that is, when they came out, where, you know, they, I mean, it's Lego, it's full of charm anyway, and it's Star Wars. You know, we don't all love, most of us love Star Wars. And it's kind of those universes combined has always produced magic. And, you know, even with that first video game they brought out, which I think actually was based on the prequel trilogy, actually. I could be wrong. I'm sure it was.
The first Lego game.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I could be wrong.
Right.
But anyway, but it was just so charming because, you know, they would recreate these scenes that you've seen on the big screen with like these little mumbling minifigures. And it was just full of charm. Yes, it was, you know, a kid's game at heart, and it was easy to play, and there wasn't any great difficulty about it. But I don't know, just a really pleasurable, great experience. And like fast forward 20 years or however long it's been, and I've got a boy. He's 5. He loves his Lego. He's loving his Star Wars. We're going through Star Wars a rewatch now, and it's like that kind of melding of these two universes again. But I can then enjoy it with Benj, and we've been playing it, and it's amazing. The Skywalker Saga, the Lego Skywalker Saga, is such a fun video game to play. It's quite. I think it has. The Lego games have come on quite a bit in that they're a lot more intricate now than what they used to be, Jimmy. They're not just kids' games anymore. I mean, kids can get a lot from them, but they're quite intricate in like some of the puzzles that you're having to do. But I think we don't really notice that because we're playing it together. You know, playing it in split screen. There's local split screen co-op. You know, he can be Qui-Gon, I can be Obi-Wan during the Phantom Menace. And it's just really good fun. I can help him out with the puzzles. I'm laughing at the jokes. I'm laughing at the Jar Jar is rubbish references. And Benji's just enjoying, you know, being in that world as these little Lego minifigures. It's such a good game.
I've been watching it. I've been watching it being played because my wife,
of course, yes,
my wife received it a day after you.
Yes,
because obviously you did your unboxing.
I did,
which we haven't mentioned. Stu, is our biggest, our highest viewed show of all time.
Well, I would say, right, it's our highest viewed positive show because I have had a video that's got more views, but that was because I was moaning about my TV that didn't work.
Right.
So I tend to think that people gravitate towards negativity, don't they? But what I like about this Lego unboxing is people have obviously come along because they want to see what the little. In fact, who is the little?
How many views are we at, Stu, on that? Well, how many views are you at? Because I'm not even on that.
2.8K.
People, can we get a round of applause for Stu on that? 2.8 thousand views on one of Stu's video.
Thank you. Go check it out if you haven't. It's basically just me unboxing the deluxe edition of this game on Nintendo Switch, and you get a exclusive Luke.
Yeah, amazing. That sounds incredibly boring, Stu. But how can 2.8 thousand people be wrong? They can't be, Stu. They cannot be.
No.
And I've watched it, and it's not. It is nice to watch and listening to your lovely voice as you do it. But what I was surprised with, because my wife, who also purchased the game but got it the day after you, went, "How the hell has he got it?" Because she thought she was getting it the day it came out.
Well, I ordered mine from Shop2, who is an online video game retailer, and for some reason they just sent it out on the Wednesday. I think they processed it. Just got a bit lucky, mate, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I've watched it. It's lovely. I've also seen. Oh, and there's the other member of the. There's the little egg.
Mwah. We just
loves a Lego game.
Lego Star Wars. Do you like it?
What?
Lego Star Wars. Yeah. Does it get 2 Benjamin thumbs up? Should we give it a? Maybe your chocolate mouth. Eh?
Is that why he's licking his mouth? Look like Jabba the Hutt.
You all right? Well done, Benji. Anyway, I'm recording. I'm live on the air now, so I love you. Oh, bless you. Anyway, yeah.
Like you're going to say bye. Anyway, bye.
See ya. Love you. Bye.
clearly
Sorry about that.
professionalism on air professionalism does not run in the family at the
No.
Garrett's house. But Stu, as I was saying, I've also
Yes.
watched the wife playing the Lego game, and
Okay.
with our son.
Mhm.
She usually kicks him off because he keeps telling her what to do. But you're right; it looks incredible. It looks
Yeah,
lovely.
it does. Do you know, it's a really sad thing to say, but they've recreated the look of the plastic incredibly well.
Right. That's
So,
not
yeah,
sad.
no, well, no, it sounds like a geeky thing to say, but something geeky. But yeah, it looks great. Like several leagues above what the first Star Wars games look like. Obviously, it covers all 9 films now. You've got Rey's journey in there now as well, which I like to play them chronologically. So I'm starting with the Phantom Menace, and going forward that way. So to get the full effect of the saga, as that's what we're here for at the end of the day. But yeah, look at it; it looks amazing, so good. And it's not just a rehash of the original Star Wars games, like just melded together. I don't think that at all. It's completely redone, levels redone. Obviously, there's some kind of similarities between the older versions of the games and this one, and that there's some ideas that they've shared, but those levels are far more intricate. They've kind of tweaked the gameplay. There's more of a behind the shoulder aspect. It's more of a video game, Jimmy. It's more taking on those modern shooter stylings, with just the kind of the positioning of the camera. There's cover mechanics now, skill trees. It's almost like a role-playing game in many ways, a very light role-playing game. But yeah, you can kind of develop the different types of characters whichever way you want. You can like go through different skill trees and unlock skills. And yeah, old grizzled Luke there. It's fantastic. Really good. I'm loving it.
That's a lovely shot where you see all of them together.
Yeah.
The shine on the face, the shine on the plastic is lovely. No, on the Lego. Well, yeah, and yours as well. But the shine on the Lego-y face is lovely.
Yeah.
The only thing that annoys me about these Lego Star Wars games that come out, it's nothing to do with them. They are amazing, brilliant games. They look fantastic.
Yes.
But I want more Star Wars games that aren't Lego. I know they brought out Jedi Fallen Order, which I kind of got a bit annoyed with because I had to keep going. I had to finish a level and then go back through the level to get back to my ship. It got my nerves.
Yeah.
More things like The Force Unleashed. I loved The Force Unleashed and The Force Unleashed 2. Why aren't they just busting these games out? There's I guess the Legos sell more. I guess they sell more because they're open to more people. So it's about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the Yankee dollar.
I mean, this is the first Lego Star Wars game for quite a while, so I think we have to cut them some slack there, Jimmy. But I do appreciate what you're saying. We just want more Star Wars video games, don't we?
Yeah,
I guess. I mean,
I got Vader Immortal, which I loved.
Yeah.
But
those Force Unleashed games. Sorry to interrupt you, Jimmy. Those Force Unleashed games are coming to Switch, by the way. Well, certainly the first one is.
I've got them on the Xbox 360 still.
Fair
but I mean, they must have come out 10 years ago, maybe more.
Probably.
I guess.
Yeah.
Probably more. Give me more lightsaber Star Wars and not just Jedi Fallen Order. Something like, I'll tell you what I'd like. I think I've said this before. Grand Theft Auto style, but with a Jedi. Big world, running around, can kill who you want. As you're a Sith, or you can be a Jedi and be a good guy. Or like there
is a game coming out by Ubisoft developing a Star Wars game, and it's the team that developed The Division. I don't know if you know of The Division. That could be exactly what you're looking for. That's
we watched a trailer for it, right?
Did we? I can't. Oh no, that's another Star Wars game. Yeah, and it's not that one. That's something else. That's going to be more of a narrative-driven game, I think, like more like a point-and-click adventure. That's what I think that is going to be, but I could be wrong.
Right.
But no, this game developed by I forget the team's name, but it's Ubisoft, the publisher, and The Division was like a shooter game that was set in New York, and the second game was in Washington, but massive recreations of these cities. So that could be kind of what you're looking for. You could, it sounds like they might be, developing that kind of open world type game in the Star Wars universe, which I think would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Star Wars, open world. That's what we want. Definitely. But yeah, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga is amazing. It's
good stuff.
amazing. Yeah, so fun. So fun.
Stu, before we move on, are you done talking about the Lego Star Wars?
Yeah, I think I'm done. I just want to say again, it's very good.
I had a personal message from Tom Rogerson saying two of his comments weren't acknowledged. He's talking about last week. So clearly
acknowledge me.
I promised all comments would be acknowledged this evening because people moaned in the past. What I have had is a personal message from Brian Blessed saying, did we cut or did we mute the bit where he says cock and bollocks on his video? I said no, and he said it wasn't on YouTube. So do you think YouTube could have real-time cut the words cock and bollocks? Because they'll be doing it right now as I say cock and bollocks.
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, we did have issues last week with our new stings that I created where some of those were cut off. I don't know.
Yes.
Very odd.
Interesting. Well,
cock and balls.
If you are wondering what Brian Blessed had as his hangover cure, was he went for a poo up and in Antarctica or something, and it was so cold his cock and bollocks nearly fell off, and that sobered him up quite quick.
Jimmy, we should talk some news, some geeky news. There's not a lot this week, but we've got a few tasty morsels for the viewers.
Yes.
This one is for you, really, mate.
Yes.
I'm bringing this for you. I didn't know if you'd seen this at the time of release. When did you hear of this?
About 2 days ago, it came up on my YouTube, and I watched the little trailer. So,
do I have the trailer? That's what I want to know. I don't think I do. So I'm gonna well, what we're talking about is the trailer for Picard's Series 3.
Well, this is it. So Picard season 2 hasn't finished yet.
No.
We've only done the 5th episode came out today. My 4th episode review should be out over the weekend, and then my 5th episode review will come out over the next following days. So we're only 5 episodes in, and they have released the trailer for season 3, which seems ridiculous. I don't think they really know what they're doing over at Paramount. That said, I was very excited by what was released because it seems like an obvious thing to do, which they haven't yet done in Picard.
No.
Stu, do you have the trailer ready for us to watch and comment on?
I thought I did, but it then said it was unavailable in this country. So no, I've got it. I've got it. I just went somewhere else. Okay. Right. Yeah. Let's have a look at this bad boy.
Can we get the volume on?
Yeah. Let's get the sound on this one. Oh, hold on. Bear with.
1, 2. Yeah, I'm not echoing, so that's good.
Okay, we want that, and we want that, and that. Okay. That one. Okay, hopefully we should hear this. So here we go. Can you hear that, Jimmy? Sweet.
I am not a man who needs a legacy.
I think back on those days on the Enterprise and all that danger we rushed into.
Those were the days.
Evolution is not an act of preservation, it's addition.
It is clear sacrifice is required again.
Jean-Luc, when the galaxy comes calling, you love it.
Aren't we a little overdue for a good old-fashioned road trip?
I promise you will not be alone.
Ready? As ever.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Damn Brent Spiner.
Ba, 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 ba. There we go. Yeah, that gets the goosebumps going, doesn't it?
Yes, you get a Star Trek cast member. You get a Star Trek cast member. I felt like Oprah then. How exciting! How exciting! This is. I've got a few things to say about that. If you don't mind.
Yes, of course. Over to you.
Off,
I mean, yeah, this is for you. My gift to you.
They've done. Thank you for doing this, Stu. Thank you for contacting Paramount and saying, "What have you been doing, Paramount? Why have you?" And Bad Robot and Kurtzman. You have got everyone from the original Next Generation coming back. Now, what they're going to be doing now, I'm not sure, because you've got Brent Spiner there, who in season 1 of Picard, we saw him in sort of dreams and stuff, and in a storage device as Data. So I'm not quite sure how they would bring back Data. I presume he'd be playing someone else, but he is playing various parts in Picard at the moment, because all of Data's ancestors look the same. But you've got the whole cast coming back there. So far, we've seen Jonathan Frakes and Miranda Serkis, who plays Will Riker and Deanna Troi. They were in series 1 of Picard, but finally they've gone, yeah, pull the trigger, let's bring back everyone. They're all happy for the payday. None of them can get work for love nor money, so they'll be really happy not to have to sit in front of a queue of stinky nerds asking for their autographs. And I include myself in that stinky nerd queue, queuing up for their autographs. I've never met any of the Next Gen cast apart from Patrick Stewart.
You've met Patrick Stewart?
Oh, yeah, a couple of times. Have
you really?
Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you the story. So I was in New York with a good friend of mine, my friend Robert Lonsdale, who was in a play called Labyrinth. I've spoken about that before with Joanna Lumley and Mark Rylance and David Hyde Pierce.
I think I have heard this story, but carry on.
The show Over the Road had Patrick Stewart in it. And one night we went over and waited for him when he came out, and there was barely anyone waiting. We're like, Patrick! And he came out and he went, "Oh, some English people," because everyone else was Yanks. And we're like, he's like, "Oh, how long are you here for?" And we're like, "Oh, a few more days." He went, "Oh, maybe me soon if this doesn't go well." Talking about his play, I don't know if they was talking about cancelling or something. And we're like, "All right, okay." And he's like, "Anyway, nice to meet you." And it's like, felt like we had a real bond, And I said, "Patrick, come for some drinks with us." And he went, "I've got a Peking duck waiting at home." And then he got in his car and he left and went for Peking duck.
Wow.
A few months later, probably about 6 months later, I was at the Swan Theatre in Stratford-upon-Avon with my friend Michael Fenterman, who directed The Windsors. He was directing was it Titus Andronicus, I think? And Patrick Stewart was in the audience. And I was like, "Oh, I must speak to him." And I bumped into him in the toilets. I say bumped.
Yeah.
I followed him into and he was there and he had his wee. And as he went over to wash his hands, I was like, "Patrick!" And he looked at me like this, like, and we met before and in New York. And it was like taking a long time. And it was like, "Oh shit, this is terrible." I was like, "You were outside. You were having Peking duck." And he went, "Ah, yes. Hello, mate." and then left. Like, "Oh, Christ. Thank God he diffused that really awkward scenario." But yeah, that's when I met Patrick Stewart.
Brilliant.
But not properly. Anyway. What are we talking about? Star Trek. Yes.
Yeah.
So the whole cast are coming back. I'll tell you what's going to be really interesting. My wife has watched the last couple of episodes of Picard with me, and she went, "What's this?" I went, "It's Star Trek." She went, "No." She doesn't watch Star Trek, but she sees, obviously, I'm watching Star Trek constantly. And she went, it sounds nothing like Star Trek. She went, no one's getting on. And I said, yeah, that is the problem with new Star Trek, is the original was we watch these people as humankind in the future had got to a point where we were all good. There was no racism, there was no prejudice, there was no sexism, there was nothing. Everyone was good and they were enlightened. And if they disagreed on something, they were still part of this crew where they would get to the point quite quickly. In Picard, they just bicker and argue all the time. She went, none of them get on. I went, yeah, I know. And then this advert came out. I was like, Christ, are we going to get the original crew with this ragtag group of people that just fucking argue all the time? It's going to be such a clash. Like when you have your stag do and you go, can I bring these work friends and these friends together? This really nice group of people and these fucking Machiavellian drunks. Are they going to get on? One or two of them might do. So it's
where the
going to
magic
be really
happens.
Interesting. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see how they interact. Very interesting, but exciting.
It doesn't make sense though. You know, you've been watching Picard. Does it make sense to, like, narrative sense for them to bring the crew back?
So in
or
the
is it just one last hurrah for this final season?
Maybe it probably should be the final season. In the first season,
I believe it is the final season.
Oh, really? That's sad. Well, he's not getting any younger. In the first season, he said, I've got to go on this mission. And I think his Romulan maid, Lara, said, are you going to get, some of your old mates? And he went, I can't bother them with this. I don't want to drag them into this. So he ends up dragging a load of fucking misfits that he finds into it instead, and has this new sort of group. And in season 2, this group have got a bit closer. And as I say, season 2 starts off great. But yeah, it's going to be weird. There's no, as I say, Riker comes into it. He goes and visits Riker and Deanna in season 1, but they don't come with him. Riker sort of helps out at one point, but yeah, it seems they're all over the place. Like Worf. Last time we saw Worf, he was the well, in All Good Things, he was in charge of the Klingon High Council. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'm excited about it because I love the original cast, and hopefully they'll bring back the feel good of the original.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting premise. I hope it works. You know, there's just something about that collective crew, isn't it? It's just, well, I haven't watched Star Trek for bloody ages, and even I watching that got a bit goosebumpy. Because it's iconic, isn't it? I think it's as iconic, it's up there with the original series crew, isn't it? I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic stuff. When is that? So when is the third season coming out then?
Well, it must be 2023, but probably 2024. Knowing
it's weird.
How long these things
it's
take.
Strange to announce it so early, even considering like the second one is just still going. And only
already halfway through.
Yeah, weird.
It might get out next year. I'll tell you a little nitpick from that trailer.
Go on.
2 nitpicks.
Yes.
One.
Yep.
Picard is wearing glasses as he's writing that letter.
Yeah.
We've never seen Picard wear glasses before.
Okay.
And you go, well, he's 100. He's close to 100 years old in Star Trek. He is close to 100 years old. They haven't fixed eyesight yet. In the future, like really, like
we've got lasering now. What's going on? Well, surely in the future you have like super lasering.
Why the hell is he wearing
transplants?
Glasses?
Yeah.
And these are things that you want someone. This is why you need a nerd in that room when they're writing it, and they go, well, he's there, he's got his glasses, and he's reading. You go, no, he wouldn't be wearing glasses. Wouldn't he? I know you haven't watched series 1 yet, Stu. But are you going to watch it?
I'm tempted. I mean, what's it on? Prime, isn't it?
This won't spoil it because there's a season 2, right?
Go on. Yeah.
At some point during season 1, Picard gets a new body, and it's a synthetic body. So why the fuck would he need glasses? Why would he need glasses?
Oh, it's a good point. Yeah.
Right. Second,
Mm.
Riker, Picard. Are you ready? Always. It's like, what? How is that a Picard line? Like that's at least give him an iconic line or something they've said before. Like, I'm always ready at 100 years. Really? Are you ready to take? Are you ready to take a piss in the night when you need it? Fucking 12 times a night, and you've got to fucking get your old ass out of bed. I'm always ready at 100. I'm always ready. What are we doing again? Right, yeah, you come to see me. But always, like, come off it. It's basically Patrick Stewart trying to be Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Bruce Willis has become Patrick Stewart.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Yeah, I feel
There you go. I'm still excited because I love Star Trek. And to anyone who goes, oh, another beardy glasses guy moaning about new Trek, I watch it because I love it. I love Star Trek and I want to love it.
And go watch that video. Go watch Ren Trek. It's on the channel. It's got a playlist. Go check it out. Jimmy does wonders. We've got some new Obi-Wan pictures, Jimmy.
Oh, yes.
Now the link you supplied. Okay, so I've seen a lot. I think I may need to go back. Where are the new pictures? Are they kind of ordered in any way?
No, I think these new ones of Vader, and there's a couple of new ones of Obi-Wan perving on Luke.
Well, let's go through. Let's go to that.
There's obviously This is interesting, this picture, because you can see there's a chair there. So you've got some Inquisitors there, and that chair is in the shape of Vader's castle. So I presume...
Ah, yes, it is. I see what you're saying.
I presume when Vader said, give me a chair. What sort of chair? Wheelie or something? Make it look like my house.
Clearly got like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen into designers.
Now I've got you a new chair coming in, and it looks just like your home. You'll love it. It's your home away from home.
It does look amazing. I mean, a lot of this is from the trailer. I don't know what that is. That's nice. What's that? That's like a bit of concept artwork, isn't it?
Yes, we're getting a
full-on Obi Vader fight.
Yeah,
how does that work canonically, though? Is that going to cause us issues?
So, if you listen to what they say in A New Hope, Darth says, "I felt a presence I haven't felt since."
Yeah, it's not specific, I guess.
Not specific. So in our heads, it was like, well, since Mustafar when they fought, but it's not specific. Then when they have their fight, he says, "Last time we met, you were the master and I was the apprentice. Now tables have turned," or something. I should know that really. And Obi-Wan says, "Only a master of evil, Darth," and he calls him Darth because that's his first name. So that's true. He does call him Darth. So they don't necessarily say we only had one fight, so they can make it work.
Yeah,
it's going to be exciting.
I'm sure there's probably been some in the comics as well, which are considered canon, of course. There's Luke.
Yep.
Oh, that looks
Vader. That's new. That
looks nice.
Yeah.
You never, when Hayden was in the Revenge of the Sith in the Vader costume, he never looked very imposing to me. He looked like a cosplayer version of Vader.
How tall was the Green Cross Code man? How tall was
Dave Prowse? I don't know.
Prowse,
He must have been massive, mustn't he? Like,
I think he was 6'6", I think.
Yeah, up there, I would say.
And Hayden's probably 6'2" at a push. They would have put big old boots on him. I think was that new, that one with Owen Lars?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oops.
I haven't seen Joel in much for a while.
No.
Now that's interesting. That's Obi-Wan clearly on that planet that she was just on, inspired by Blade Runner. Because I know there was like when we were trying to predict what was going to happen. Is he just going to be on Tatooine the whole time doing handyman jobs?
Yeah.
But clearly not.
Wanking off aliens.
Is that what your handyman does in your village? I think you're calling the wrong handyman, Stu, or your wife has misinformed you. But clearly he goes off planet, which is lovely. And obviously he's got to be off planet to fight Darth Vader because he wouldn't do that on Tatooine.
No.
That's new. Him
looks new.
feeding the pony.
What's that?
Obi-Wan.
Can I zoom in?
Lonely.
Is it Obi?
Hmm.
I don't know. Solemn cave. I mean, yeah, I can't wait. When's this coming out? May, isn't it? Because they moved it, didn't they? They moved the date for the first
Like
premiere.
May 27th, May 28th, something like that.
Yeah, so we're getting a double. They're doing the double episode on the first week, and they moved it to Celebration, didn't they? Which I think is in.
Go back. Who do you reckon that is? I don't know why. No, go back. I don't know why they moved it. I think they weren't ready. Yeah, this. People say it looks like Han Solo's gun. I think John Simmons would have something to say about that.
Pew pew. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, they moved it, so it's now Friday nights because it was going to be the Wednesday nights, wasn't it?
Oh, really? That's better. I always preferred the Friday night premiere or the Friday premieres.
I'll tell you what, Stu. Go back a few because I'm going to have another rant here, and I know lots of people have ranted about this. Keep going. I'll tell you and stop. No. No. We're going back to the Inquisitor, basically. Next one.
Right. Okay, yes.
So this chap here.
Yep.
He's not supposed to look like that.
No, quite.
And the annoying thing is you go, well, you know, in the Clone Wars cartoon, he had a longer head and, you know, this is how he looks. I found out recently that his species, what he actually is,
yes,
are the people from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And we saw that species with their long heads.
And they're terrifying.
They were incredible. And I got really annoyed that character wasn't used more. He was just like, oh, yeah, people are here. Be careful. They're holding us hostage. And then they wasted him. And then I've had an opportunity to bring that same alien type back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we get. Uncle Fester with 2 tattoos on his head.
It could just be a poor angle, you know?
No, shit. His eyes are the wrong color as well. He's got like human. He just looks like a human in makeup. Whereas that chap in Revenge of the Sith, I don't know if you can bring up a picture of that, Stu.
Let me see what I can do for you.
He looked terrifying. He looked menacing. He had spiky teeth all over the place. He had the liney head. What I did is I just typed in Revenge of the Sith alien. I'm not sure. Honestly, yeah. There he is. Bish bash bosh. Look at that. Amazing. Look at that compared to what we're getting. I was thinking, I wonder if there's a delay. Because do you remember when they brought the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer out?
Right, yeah.
And everyone went, fuck off! Fuck off! That's not Sonic! And they went, oh, is it not? Hold on, let us change it. We'll change it. And
it's almost like Nosferatu, isn't it? It's very, it's horrifying.
Look at him with Obi-Wan there. Look how good that with Obi-Wan is.
Yeah.
And they've gone with what they've gone with. It's really odd. It's really odd.
I'll fucking squish it.
So, I'm hoping they've taken that time and they've maybe CGI'd his head.
Well, who knows? Just put it in a press.
Yeah.
Just wash it. Jimmy, you've been making some questionable purchases this week. I would argue. Probably.
This is my trip to Ann Summers, right?
Not quite. You've got a love of Labyrinth, the movie, haven't you? And
well, my wife has a big love.
Okay, so give us the context for this purchase that you attempted to make.
Well, this should be a new regular section where each week we purchase something off of Amazon and see what we get. So I look at that, man.
Oh.
Beautiful. My wife's birthday, as I say, was this week. She's a massive Labyrinth fan. You looked like Ludo then as well. That was great.
Cheers, mate.
She's a massive fan. We put on Dance Magic Dance at least, or Jump Magic Jump at least once every week, and the kids will dance to it. She loves David Bowie's big cock in his trousers. So
Don't we all?
For her birthday, this came up on my Amazon. The worm plushie. Look at this handmade worm stuffed toy, funny present. Plush doll, funny gift. Don't know why it says that. Here's the images. Look at this thing. Beautiful.
Great.
Look at the price.
Yep, a tenner.
£11 something with postage, £4. Now, I was going to do a little unboxing for you all, but I've lost the box that had it in. Don't go too far down because there is people's reviews, which I should have.
Spoilers.
I should have read because when the thing turned up the day before my wife's birthday, I was very excited, and the box it turned up in was not a big box. It was more of an envelope that turned up, and my wife went, "Oh, is this what you was expecting?" And I went, "No, that is not what I was expecting. I do not know what this is." And as I opened it, I went, "Oh shit! I've been absolutely effing had." And I sent these photos to my friends, Stu and Seddon and Midian and Jimmy P and Lacey, and this was what I received. This was my worm.
Let's get a better view of this.
£15 worm. Look at it, Stu.
I can't go full screen, but
can you zoom in more? There we go. Look at that. It is a piece of white material, and they have printed a picture of the worm on the front of it. They've printed a picture of the worm on it and attached some blue hair and a little red scarf. And this is it. Stu, bring up the other picture because I think it looks better from behind. I think from behind you can go, yes, I can see why he purchased it. Because from behind gives you a nice view of the quality of the product.
Or was it the other one?
Well, I said there's only 3 pictures, so it can only be one.
Oh, it's going to be this one.
Okay. But as I opened it, my wife went, "Let me see." It wasn't even her birthday. Here we go. So you can see the back is just the white material. It's just the white material where the print. It's basically, when you're a kid and you took a picture to a shop and said, "Can you put this picture of Cindy Crawford on a white T-shirt for me?" Worm. They got a cheek to label it. Someone has stuffed a white sock, and printed the picture on top.
Holy moly!
What's weird is everyone I've showed it to has said you've got to keep that.
Yeah,
but it was £15. It's not
it's worth it for the comedic value.
No, well, it's been immortalized online now for £3, £4, £5 at a push. I may have kept it. That said, I think I may have to keep it now because I've lost the fucking thing.
Wow, there we go.
Yeah, so
I'm intrigued. I do want to go back to the reviews.
Look how good it was.
What the fuck is that? What's
that? Menacing cat. It comes with it. Oh, look, there it is. Look next to it. That's it, isn't it? That's what I bought. That's what I bought. But I promise you, I bought the other one.
Kill me!
Kill me. Jesus, I can't believe this is what they're trying to sell what I bought. And they've got only 13 left. That's because they've sold all the others on the other side. Oh, there's perfect pictures of it.
I want to die.
Oh, I don't believe it. There it is.
Oh dear, new show mascot. I want one now.
Maybe I should keep it.
Get it for the shelf. The shelf of shit.
Maybe I should.
Did you click on the right? Did you click on the wrong one, Jimmy? That's what.
No. I promise you, because I've had a email saying, "Please, would you like to review this product?" And it's the one in the first picture. But if you scroll down, look, keep scrolling down, because this is what I didn't do. I didn't scroll down enough. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There's the reviews. Reviews of images.
What's that?
He threw it on the floor. Keep scrolling down, because then you see what we got. Look, he gave it 2 stars.
Has placed a curse on me.
2 stars.
Well, yeah.
No stars.
He was quite soft. That was worth a star. Or 2 stars.
Fair enough. There you go.
Oh wow.
I was dumb. So lesson. Always read the reviews, man. Can't believe it.
Colin has asked, "Is that the Alexa Bliss doll?" It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it looks like it. There we go. Word of I don't know. What's the moral from this tale? Read the reviews.
Read reviews, and I guess just read the reviews. And if there are no reviews, probably don't buy it.
Oh, Jimmy.
My wife said, "What did you expect for like 12 quid?" What, the picture? Surely you get the picture. There you go.
There we go. That was the Week in Geek. A very eclectic week, Jimmy, I think you would say. But I mean, we've had quite the laugh this week already. It's been great fun, but still, the experiment must continue, and that experiment is:
can the past still make us laugh?
Can the past indeed still make us laugh? Well, let's find out. What have you got for me this week, then, Jimmy?
Stu, so this week, this is obviously the new regular section of the show where I pick a clip from the vaults of, I mean, I think it will mostly be BBC, because BBC used to be good at comedy. Now they just play seasons of Not Going Out, the pile of vomit that is the Lee Mack vehicle. I was going to talk about that this evening, but I'll give that a miss, I think. So I bring up clips from the past, and I'll be honest, I did look for a few shows first, because there was some things that I thought, I'll get a clip of that. I think Stu might like that. And I was looking through Heidi High, Rising Damp, Hale and Pace. But ironically, the past there didn't make me laugh. So I've gone for not the 9 o'clock news.
I love not the 9 o'clock news. So this pretty much guaranteed.
The past should be able to make Stu laugh.
I think it should.
But I think this is an interesting clip, because it's got a bit of a story behind it, which we can discuss afterwards.
Okay. So let's not the 9 o'clock news. Monty Python's worshippers. It doesn't ring any bells so far, but that's okay. Let's see where this goes. Okay.
Well, that was an excerpt from the controversial and some would say scurrilous new British picture, The General Synod's Life of Christ. The film deals with the rise to fame and greatness of a humble carpenter's son named Jesus Christ. But many people have seen in the film a thinly disguised and blasphemous attack on the life of Monty Python. Python worshippers claim the film sets out to ridicule by parody the actual members of Monty Python. Men who even today are worshipped and revered throughout the Western world. Now, Alexander Walker, what did you think of the picture?
Well, I was appalled. I mean, I actually find it deeply offensive that in a country that is still ostensibly a Python-worshipping country, that a 14-year-old child can actually get in to see this film. I mean, there is little enough proper Python around these days without parading this distorted garbage about.
Bishop, you directed the film. Did you expect this kind of reaction?
Well, I certainly didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition. Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did direct the film. And I feel as though I must emphasize at this stage that it is not about Python.
Oh, come on.
I'm not a Pythonist. I'm not a Pythonist myself, but obviously I have a tremendous amount of respect for people like Alexander who are.
Oh, come now. Now, come now, Bishop. I mean, the leading figure in this film, what is it? Jesus Christ. I mean, it's quite clearly a lampoon of the comic messiah himself, our Lord John Cleese. I mean, even the initials, JC, are exactly the same.
I must explain. I must explain to you, the Christ figure is not Cleese.
Oh, come on.
No, he's just an ordinary man who happens to have been born in Weston-super-Mare at the same time as Mr. Cleese.
Jonathan, you know as well as I
he
do.
Is mistaken, he is mistaken for the comic messiah himself by vast crowds of people who follow him about, doing silly walks, shouting, no, not the comfy chair, and other slogans from the good box.
No, I'm sorry, Jonathan, whatever you say, this film is a highly distasteful one. I mean, have people forgotten how Monty Python suffered for us?
I know.
How often the sketches failed? I mean, these men died for us, frequently.
I mean, if Python is immortal, as Pythonists believe, then I can't believe that a mere film,
a 10th-rate,
could put them off. I mean, in the words of John Cleese, whenever 2 or 3 are gathered together in one place, then they shall perform the parrot sketch.
It is an ex-parrot.
It has ceased to be.
Indeed. Well, Alexander Walker, the final scene of the picture has attracted the most attention.
Right. Well, now here, I think we have the ultimate blasphemy. I mean, it is set in a hotel in Torquay. Literally hundreds of Spanish waiters are being clipped about the ear by this Jesus Christ bloke. It is obviously a lampoon of the comic messiah's greatest half hour.
It's not at all. The point, it's Torbay.
Thank you both very
come on,
much.
Torbay, Torquay. I mean,
Bishop, Alexander Walker, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Oh,
feel like you're doing the work of.
Yes, it made me laugh. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
The
past.
Yeah, it's clearly a comment on the outrage from the life of Brian. And there was a similar, it was like a real life kind of interview, wasn't there? The way that clearly aping.
Yes, a real life interview with John Cleese and Michael Palin, I think. And it was like, I don't think it was the Archbishop or whatever. There's a bishop on there, isn't there, talking about the blasphemous, and they're saying it's not Jesus Christ. It's a man called Brian who was born in Nazareth at the same time as Jesus Christ, and they're just poking fun at that, but in a brilliant way. And Rowan Atkinson just stands out, doesn't he?
Yeah. And do you know what I loved about that is how straight the other two played it. You know, they were almost presenting it as if as if what they were saying was like the gospel truth. Pardon the pun. You know, just they fully believed it. And then so good. I did love the not the 9 o'clock news. I liked Gerald the ape sketch.
Yeah. Oh Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
When I first brought Gerald out of the wild, he was so
good.
He was wild himself. Wild. I was livid.
Yeah.
They don't do good sketch comedy anymore, do they, Stu? Where's the good sketch comedy?
I know, mate. I know. Yeah. Where is it?
I don't think there's been anything since Mitchell and Webb.
I've never seen that. I mean, I loved Peep Show, but I've never seen like their sketch-based stuff.
Stu, you got like 3 seasons.
Really?
4 maybe. Yeah, it's really.
Is it of the same caliber as Peep Show?
Not far off. Yeah,
Nice,
not far off at all.
Nice.
But I, as I say, I've cherry picked. So can the past still make us laugh? I think I need to start bringing in
questionable things.
What do you mean controversial? Because
no, I mean
good.
Like, borderline. Is it funny or not? You know,
right? Okay,
maybe something considered. Sorry, Jimmy. Something that was considered a classic that, or not necessarily a classic, but considered funny for the time, but maybe not so much these days.
Okay, I'll have a look, because all through the Rising Damp one, some questionable stuff came up because of obviously Rigsby's relationship with Philip. Philip being an African prince. Was he actually a prince? He was from Africa, but He was actually a prince.
Well, that's what he claimed, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he may have been, but he would always play tricks on Rigsby. So that was the thing, wasn't it? He was the smart one, even though there was racist comments towards him. He was the smart one. He always won.
Rigsby was the buffoon, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I think ultimately, sometimes there was points where people were not nice to Philip, and Rigsby would be on his side and tell them to fucking do one. So it was sort of trying in a weird way, but there's still the racism in it. And watching the clips of Rising Damp, I'm sort of going, it's funny. And actually, personally, I think there's a nice relationship between these characters, and Philip is the one who is running the relationship and the scene. Maybe it's not, and I'm going, I don't think we could show it on the show, because I think people would go, you can't show that stuff anymore. So it's interesting. It's interesting looking back at the past and these comedies
and seeing if it makes us laugh.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens next week. Clearly this week, the past did indeed make you laugh.
Thank you, James. The past did make me laugh. That was a good one. Right. With that being said, let's continue with the laughter. One hopes. With this week's loving edition of Bird News. Bird News.
Oh, sorry, I nearly spoke over the sting.
How dare you?
We're at Bird News already.
We are. We're cracking on, Jimmy.
Right.
We haven't missed anything, have we? Let me check the notes.
I would say we must have done. Because it's only 8:30.
I know. We're doing so well. Well, we did say we want to keep the shows tight and kind of ticking along, and we've done that, I think. Yeah, we haven't missed anything at all. There we go. But yeah, bird news. I'll bring to you some royal bird news for you this week, Jimmy, as I promised. And this kind of tickled me for a number of reasons. The first being just, I don't know, it kind of puts the Queen in a lovely light. What's going on with this? There we go. That's better. So Angela Kelly, who holds the prestigious role of the Queen's dresser, has written an autobiography, I believe.
What's it called?
Oh, what is it called?
Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
I'm sure it does have the title in here somewhere. Oh, for goodness sake, this is horrendous. Go away. Fucking mirror. It's not like the sun. The other side of the coin. The Queen, the dresser, and the wardrobe. Okay, so it's a play on the line, the witch, and the wardrobe.
Yeah, it doesn't really work, does it?
No. But she regales a number of anecdotes about her time serving the Queen and dressing the Queen. And one such anecdote was bird related. And she goes on to say that she pulled a April Fool's prank on the Queen. How dare she? I say,
that's risking it.
How dare she? But the Queen took it in good stride. Whereas she couldn't have done, she could have gone rogue and just said, right, off with her head, send her to the tower, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I do long for the Queen just to say, right, I've had enough of this, government system we've got in place. I just want to start ruling again. I've got the taste for blood, Fox,
cat.
Right.
Sorry.
Something got his hand up.
I was still engrossed in you. I've got the taste for blood from the Queen. Then there was a cat, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Sometimes I do wish that she would go rogue.
You want her to do that? Would you actually, though, Stu? Just before we carry on, because we have got time. Would you? I don't want to shortchange our listeners. What would you like her to actually do?
Just assume a bit of control again. Saying that I'm no royalist, but by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know. I don't want to get political, Jimmy, but I think she could do a better job.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think she could do a better job at standing around?
Yeah.
Would you like her to? I mean, I agree. Like, she's a smart woman, and there is some fucking fools in government, some real morons that back in the day of off with his head, they wouldn't have been stuck allowed to stick around. Look at Boris.
I know.
Would you have liked it? Because I used to quite like Boris, and I'm listening to some old podcasts at the moment with Tony Way and Reese. I can't remember. Reese Thomas.
Yeah.
Really funny stuff. And at the time of these podcasts, Boris Johnson's the mayor of London.
Okay.
And they're sort of talking about him like going, yeah, he's funny, he's a buffoon. He probably wants to be prime minister. Imagine him as prime minister. Imagine that. They're making a lot of jokes about it. You're like, Christ, he is.
Fast forward to our dark timeline.
Yeah. And obviously he was our Stiffy's cunt of the year.
Mm-hmm.
2 years running? Oh, no, it was the general public, but the year before, wasn't it? But this year it was...
which he's a member of.
At home, and we all went off. Yeah, we all went off, and we all agreed there. But yeah, like, since these parties and everything, would you have liked her... How would you have liked her to deal with it?
Kind of... Well, in many ways, kind of how I wish she dealt with this situation. I'm no real fan of an April Fool's prank or a prank of any nature at all. But I think the Queen took this in her stride. But I wish she'd been a bit tougher.
Okay.
So I'll just tell you the story, and then I'll kind of relate it back to Boris and how I think she could have dealt with Boris. So we'll just read through the story as it's written. One of the Queen's most trusted employees couldn't be better placed to pull a light-hearted April Fool's prank, leaving the pair in stitches. Angela Kelly held the prestigious role of the Queen's dresser since 2002 and has been working for the royal family for more than 25 years.
Stu, just before you go on, I'm loving this, but I've got images of the story, The Emperor's New Clothes. Did she convince the Queen that she was dressed and the Queen went out naked?
No, it's not quite as exotic or erotic as that, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Angela released a book. Well, we know she released a book called The Other Side of the Coin, The Queen, the Dress and the Wardrobe, which included one hilarious anecdote about an April Fool's Day gag the dresser pulled back in 2006. She seized her opportunity for some mischief as April Fool's Day approached while on a royal tour in Australia. With the Queen excited to see the iconic kookaburra, Kelly purchased a soft toy and placed it in a birdcage on the balcony outside the royal suite in Governor's House. The Queen caught a glimpse of the exotic bird, and Kelly recalled that the Queen looked outside, shouting, "It's a kookaburra!" Holy shit! Fuck me, it's a kookaburra. Angela said, "I went to open a cage and she said loudly, 'No, don't do that. It will fly away.' Turning to Her Majesty while trying to keep a straight face, I solemnly told her it was dead." Christ. She looked horrified as I walked towards her with outstretched arms, and she took the bird from my hands. She realized I had been winding her up. However, the Queen was prepared with a retort of her own that apparently left the dresser in fits of laughter. Kelly added, "April Fool," I said with a mischievous grin, and she only had 2 words for me. You're sacked. Now, I kind of wish she'd gone full Vinnie Mac on her. You're fired. And actually fired her because for playing such a prank. And, in many ways, I kind of guess that's what I wish she'd done with Boris. Just gone a bit autonomous, fired him, and we could just get on with our lives with a much more efficient head of state. But no, it tickled me, mainly for the Vince McMahon. I was in a WrestleMania mode at that point, Jimmy, when I read this. I thought, that'd be quite funny if she did it in the style of Vince McMahon. But
you don't have to tell me why you've brought this to the table. Like,
well, if it's a bit shit, I feel like I could justify it.
Stu, we've got 23 minutes to fill. You don't have to tell me why you've brought this to the table.
I'm half cut on gin.
I would say this. Yeah, that's why we've been so quick. I would say this may be the best bird news we've ever had because it's a whole story in one. As Prince Andrew,
there he is.
Talking of kookaburras, it's That's amazing. The cheek of the woman.
I
I can't
know.
believe she. How old was she when she went? It's dead. Take the dead. I'm flabbergasted by the gall of the woman, and
I
I
know.
love the fact it's like she only had 2 words for her. And it was like, "You cunt." Obviously, I can't believe that. It's what was going on in her head. Imagine if she's laying in bed the morning of with her husband
Mm.
or her wife, whatever,
Mm.
and she goes, "I've got a great April Fool's joke." Oh, who are you doing it on? The Queen. You're what? The Queen, the most famous, important person in the world. Yeah,
that's the one.
great. It's gonna slay her. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna pretend I've got a dead bird in a cage. Disgrace. I hope she did sack her.
Mm. You're sacked.
Stu, this woman's worse than Jimmy Savile.
Ah, bugger! I forgot to mention I was watching a Jimmy Savile documentary on
Well,
Netflix.
I brought it
Shit.
up, Stu, because we've got 22 minutes to fill, and
No,
I've
no,
been
no,
watching it as well.
It's fine. We've got 10 minutes. Look, we're done 1 hour 50. We said 2 hours or 9 o'clock. So, we're good. But I will mention it because I have, I want to say I have been enjoying it. But you know what I mean.
I've been watching it as well.
It's horrific, isn't it?
John Simmons' scale modeler loved it. He loves Jimmy Savile. Just if he's watching still, or any of his fans of his modeling, he loves Savile. Do you know what's weird? Yes, Stu. I've been watching it, and anytime you see him in it near a young woman or a youngster,
Yep.
I instantly go, "Oh Christ, did I want to watch this?" And like sort of get angry. But anytime I see him hosting things or doing his thing, sort of look at him and go, "Christ, he was revolutionary." You see how, it's horrible to say, but how good he was at what he did. Not the molesting, not the pedophilic molesting, the presenting, the taking his talents. How the hell did he become really good friends with Margaret Thatcher? Like,
that's what. Whenever I'm watching anything Savile related, the documentaries, there's loads of them out there. This is a particularly good one. It's spread over 2 episodes.
Netflix.
On Netflix, and it's it really goes really in depth into his rise to power, if you like, because he did hold power. Jimmy, I just can't understand how he obtained these positions in these massive British institutions like Broadmoor. Like the country's leading psychiatric, like hospital. It was a hospital, wasn't it? Not a prison. It was.
Broadmoor's
It was a hospital,
prison, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it? It's kind of like a bit of
Or
both.
is it There's a hospital with the people in paralyzed with the roof where he's
There was that,
10
yeah.
million.
Oh my god, what was that called? Stoke Mandeville Spine Clinic. So he was kind of like well-to-do, almost like positions of power in these huge British institutions, and no one batted an eyelid. People knew it was going on.
Yeah,
they just kind of swept it under the carpet.
What happened?
Scandalous.
Because there's like a couple of people who worked closely with him, and they say that it'd come in and go, "Oh yes, got myself a lady last night. She gone now," and they'd just go, "All right, got a lady. I'm not going to probe any more than that." So did people people knew. Like you can see him with his hands all over people. But what's weird is you then see him out on the street kissing old ladies. Well, old ladies wanting to kiss him.
Yeah,
everyone loved him.
Everyone did love him.
All of the Savile stuff that all came out back then, like when it all came out, it was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrendous. This is unreal. Now, when I'm watching this, it's sort of ruining my England. It's sort of ruining. It didn't before, but now I'm watching this and seeing him in all these sort of scenarios. I'm going,
it's shameful, isn't it? It's like,
he was part of a massive part of British culture during the 80s. Well, during the 70s, 60s, forever, but especially during the 80s when we were growing up, where he's there with Thatcher, he's there with Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and she's coyly looking at him, and he's raising so much money. And It's insane. One question that did come into my head, Stu, and
Okay.
this is going to be a controversial question.
Mm.
Really controversial. Really controversial. So I'm going to pour a little drink for it, but I'm going to ask you it.
Was Savile right?
And I was, and I wasn't gonna ask it, but because I've had quite a bit of this prosecco, I'm going to ask him.
Mm.
Do you think he did more good or more bad? I know it's a horrible question to ask.
Okay. Well, that's what like a lot of the kind of discussion on the program was about, wasn't it? Like a lot of his motives for his charitable work were because he was a hugely religious man, and it's like he was trying to balance out the scales of justice, like he was in Moon Knight, seeing which way it was going to go. Well, yeah, I think ultimately the evil bits have to outweigh the good, because the good that he was doing was for a nefarious reason. So I guess in a way it's still kind of bad.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
That's it, isn't it?
He wasn't doing it for a charitable cause. He was doing it for himself.
Yeah, I agree, and I was hoping you would say that, because after I thought of the question when I was watching the show, you passed the test. One child getting molested is not worth £1 billion, is it?
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Quite
not.
right.
Yeah, you chose wisely.
Thanks.
But
yeah, it's really, really good documentary.
very
I do love it. Amazon do, they do pump out a lot of shit, but I do like a lot of their documentary material. I think it is good, and this is one of the better ones.
But it is upsetting. It is upsetting to watch.
Oh yeah, very much so, and it gives you warning. Well, you know what you're going to go into when you watch it, don't you? With a Savile documentary, but just some of the tales that it's telling, and some of the actually it is quite upsetting, and it upsets me more
horrible.
now that I have a kid. I know that's probably quite bad for me to say, but it does upset me more than it probably did before, in a way. I'll be honest. But yeah. Awful.
And what's upsetting is just the amount of people that must have known stuff was going on.
Yeah,
the amount
that's what gets me.
Like you can see him in clips where you can see him literally goosing girls on top of the pops or whatever, and you can see him doing it, and it's like this is outrageous, but that's nowhere near the worst bit.
Yeah.
Like how?
Yeah. That's the stuff he does, like kind of on the camera, isn't it? It's crazy.
And he says stuff as well, doesn't he? He goes, "Where were you last night?" "Well, I was with a young lady, but we've got to leave each town because
exactly
I've got the trial on Thursday."
Yeah, it's like he's goading us. He knows, and it's like he knows it's all going to come out when he's gone eventually, and alas, it did. But oh yeah, it's not a cheerful watch, but it is an interesting watch. I have to say.
But also the problem is when you see him doing his thing in different areas. This may sound weird, but there were certain bits when you sort of seeing him doing a marathon or something, I get little nostalgic bits from remembering it when I was a kid. Going, oh yeah, I remember that. That was nice. That was a nice time when I was a kid and Jimmy Savile was running with a couple of nuns. And then you hear the next bit he did and you go, oh, that's ruined that bit of nostalgic bit of my childhood. It's sort of it's put an evil mark on my childhood. And the country's childhood.
Yeah, it's like a cultural blemish now, isn't it?
Yeah, because he was
really
so
is.
big. He was so big, but it's a worthwhile documentary.
Yeah,
to remember,
yeah,
horrible times.
And
on that note,
and finally. I've called this story Gaseous Clay. You might have seen this on the this was a trending topic on Twitter. Well, you don't go on Twitter, do you? But it was it was making big news around the metaverse. But Cara Clark was at work when she developed extreme stomach pain on Tuesday and was rushed to hospital. Doesn't sound so good so far, but it gets funny. Well, not for her. She had to go.
She died.
An Irish barista has said she landed herself in hospital because she refused to fart around her boyfriend for 2 years. We've all gone through that phase when you've started dating someone, you want to impress her, and you kind of holding in your gas. But this woman, bless her, takes it one step too far. I'm so sorry about these pop-ups. Like I say, she developed extreme stomach pain, which landed her in hospital on a Tuesday. The 19-year-old then learned she had an infection and would have to have her appendix removed before it burst, which she says was caused by her reluctance to break wind around her partner. The barista, who has been with her boyfriend, Kyle Duffy, for 2 years, claimed he was dying laughing after her efforts to hold it in had left her needing surgery. Appendicitis can be caused if pressure builds in the appendix. So holding in any wind can cause damage, as Cara found out. So there we go. Do not hold in your farts.
I'm not buying any of this story, Stu.
Nothing?
How old was she?
19.
And how long was she with the chap?
2 years.
Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. One, I've never heard of someone having to have their appendix taken out because they wouldn't fart in front of people. That's a lie. And I watch a lot of House, so I know a lot about medicine. 2, I went, I think 6 years without passing wind in front of an ex-girlfriend once.
6 years?
Yeah. 3, my father went 21 years without passing wind in front of my mother. And, eventually he did. And now it's like, I'm in my 70s, I'll do it. But he went 21 years without passing wind. And he's got all of his appendixes. So I'm calling bullshit.
Wow. Well,
I'm not buying it.
You've kind of answered my question, really. I was going to ask, do you have any anecdotes about what, if you've ever had to try and hide anything from your partner in those first few, magical months of courting? And, well, you've got quite the experience, not you personally, but your circle of family and friends.
I did 6 years.
Oh, and yourself, of course you did, yeah. Yeah,
I did 6 years with my wife.
No trumps at all. Well, just kind of holding it into an appropriate moment.
6 years with a previous girlfriend.
Yep.
And just waiting till they'd fall asleep, and then you go. I sound like Jimmy Savile again. Out of bed. With my wife, I waited. Well, I tried to not do it. I did try because I was a firm believer. But once she did it, it was fair game.
Off. Yeah,
it becomes fair game. It's a tricky one, isn't that? Passing wind in front of a partner, because you don't know what to do. And one of the big problems in my house is my wife's never smell.
Never. Really?
And mine only ever.
Again, it's like yin and yang. You
very, very quiet. Well,
it's like you balance out the universe.
Yeah. I can be like, do you ever do that? You lay in bed and you pass wind and you're like, oh God, I hope she doesn't wake up anytime soon. I hope in the morning that's dispersed.
No. I collect I form the guff cloud in my hands and kind of actively force it towards Amanda.
Good friend of mine, listener of the show, been on this evening. He's got a good few children, and he will. What does he do? Pocket. You off to bed, darling? No. Are you okay?
I'm listening to you.
Oh yeah. Talking about how bad my pops are.
It's a natural body process. Everybody does it. Why hide it?
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, quite right.
There's no point.
I didn't say I hid it anymore.
I know, but your whole family has a track record of just not farting in front of people.
21 years, my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why my dad's nearly died 8 times. But yes, a good friend of ours, listener of the show, farts in his hand and sticks it in his kids' faces.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yes. Yes. Celebrate it. Like a fine wine. I do have another and finally.
Good, because we've got 8 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
We've also got a comment.
Have we?
Oh, Colin Doolan says bad
Bad.
tick.
I think he was talking about the the balance of Savile, whether he's outweighed the good with the bad.
Oh, so he said more bad. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good. He chose wisely as well. I'm waiting for someone to come on and go.
No, good. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. This is a strange story. A rapper called Markel Morrow, also known as Gnu. He had his friends and family kind of did a strange thing for him after he was sadly shot. But after he was sadly killed and embalmed, they had a service, a celebration of his life.
Is that him dead?
Yeah, they paraded him on stage with a crown on. So that is him dead, embalmed, all stiff and like ready to go, looking good. But he's dead. But yeah, strange circumstance. Why would you want to do that? It piqued my interest because I wondered, Jimmy, what would you, if you were stuffed or embalmed, if this was happening to you, what kind of position would you like to be embalmed and stuffed in?
Good question.
Thanks.
Holly, take note. These are questions. That's a joke because your questions were amazing tonight. Thank you so much for them. This is interesting, isn't it? Because I'll refer to our good friend Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Who says, Harry, don't pity the dead, pity the living. Which if you're dead, you don't give a shit whether there's a heaven or not. If there's not, you don't know. If there is, you look down and you go, there I am.
Yeah.
But it's for the ones around you having to look at your corpse being held up. Surely that's horrible. But if everyone's behind it and if everyone's like, yeah, man, I'm well behind this, I'd love that. What a laugh.
They took his embalmed corpse to a nightclub. Like Weekend at Bernie's style.
Yeah, I'd probably go for something like this.
Yeah. Clothed or nude?
Can they insert muscles into my body?
Yes.
When they embalm me.
Yes, they can.
They can make me look like Arnie. They can make me ripped.
We'll go with that, please.
I'll go topless.
I don't
imagine if someone came and tried to chat you up though. Hey, he's cold. He's cold.
His personality and his body. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I quite like to just be like all arms open, arms and legs open.
Oh,
just
on a magician's wheel going round with them throwing knives at you, all going in you.
I don't know really. I've always quite liked the idea of being stuffed and put on the sofa somehow. Just because I do have a position on the sofa, I just like to lie on the sofa. I'm quite lazy. I don't know if you know, but yes, I just like to lie there as the world goes around me. So yeah, just keep me there as a warning.
As a warning to other suitors, the wife.
Yeah, don't live your life like this.
As a promise, okay. If you go in the next, I mean, how long will we do this show for, realistically? And maybe another 5 to 10 years, something like that. If you go in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll stuff you and put you at this desk, and I'll do the show with you. Yeah. And each week, like your eyes hanging down a bit, comes down slowly.
You could, Amanda could just move me ever so slightly during each episode, so you could I don't know, somehow flick through the episodes like a stop motion. So I'm reanimated.
Probably in 10 years, Ben could make your mouth work.
Yeah.
Like that. Talk for you.
Dear. There we go. That was mine finally. By Jove, Jimmy, we've done it. 3 minutes to go. 8 minutes past the 2 hour mark. I think that's a kind of bang on time, isn't it? That's a good one. I enjoyed it. Let's get rid of that. Don't want that. But I tell you, I need to lay off the gin a bit. I don't know. Perhaps makes the show better. Let us know, listeners. Viewers.
What do you mean a bit? Have you been drinking it all day or all week?
Oh no,
or
I've had a good amount of that.
comment from Colin Doolan says new hats each week. I presume
Yes,
he means
Colin.
on the corpse of Stu as he goes.
Yeah, I like that.
Little cowboy hat, Kurt Angle style. Yeah. Well, how much gin have you got through, Stu? Is this been the drunk episode?
No.
No.
I feel okay, but I think it loosens the lips, doesn't it? In all seriousness, it's good. Have a little tipple, why not? Eh?
Well, yeah. If you want to advertise alcoholism, Stu, I'm with you. It loosens the lips. It's all good. Go for it.
Go for it. Eh? But yeah, I've had a thoroughly pleasant time this evening. Hopefully our viewers have as well. Go check out the Rentrek episodes. Like I say, Jimmy doing a sterling job reviewing Picard season 2. Obviously we've got the Lego. I'm regretting calling my videos Lego because I just think people see them and think that's clearly a spelling mistake.
It's the first thing my wife said when she saw it. She went, "Why is there 2 G's?" I went, and I didn't know, but immediately I went, "It's because he's the egg." I saw it immediately, but that's because
thank you, Jimmy. I know
we had
I did a mistake of branding's not my strong suit. But yeah, anyway, it's there now, so it is what it is.
Yeah, and if you're a wrestling fan, go check out the latest podcast.
Please do. We brought the Botchcast back. It went well. It's been well received. Colin liked it. Thank you, Colin, for your feedback. He put a comment on the video itself, so thank you for watching. I think he mentioned it in here as well. So yeah, Botchcast is there. We reviewed WrestleMania 38, both nights 1 and 2. If all goes well and we have the desire, we'll do some more Botchcasts with some other wrestling shows that happen throughout the year. So yeah, if that's something you want to see, support us by go and watching that video. That'd show us that you love it.
I'll also say, Stu, that the highlight for me, not the highlight, but nearly the highlight. The highlight was the whole show. It was enjoyable just to do and talk about wrestling to someone who was interested. But the opening music, correct me if I'm wrong, but is our good friend, Renaissance man DRB.
Yeah, that's a DRB joint. He
that
is old. He does. Yeah, he's quite a music.
Yeah, I've heard him sing. I've heard him sing on some other stuff when we did the 100th show, but I haven't heard huge amounts of DRB stuff. And that opening music is so good. Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a good old boy, DRB. He created that, when the Botchcast was relevant a couple of years ago when we were still doing it. But I kind of dusted it off, and it seemed appropriate, to have. That's why DRB's still on the intro. I still like to have a bit of DRB on the show, even if he can't record with us as much as he would like. But yeah, he's still part of the Renaissance men at heart and spirit, as they all are, as all the alumni are as well. So there we go. What else do I need to pimp? I think that's pretty much it. I think, Jimmy, got anything else coming out? Have we done Rentrek, done Botchcast, Lego? Yeah, there we go.
Check out Seddon and Lacey's new stuff. There's the new Reacts, the music reacts on the Renaissance.
Renaissance Reacts. Yes, the last Seddon and Lacey video did premiere this week, so go check that out. So Renaissance Reacts, and go check out they went live on I think it was this past Tuesday. They did their first live show where they reviewed the Batman. I tuned in for like a good 10-15 minutes. It was good stuff, so go check that out, like I will on the replay, the on demand. So go check. I don't think they've got I need to find out what their the hyperlink is for their channel so I can put it somewhere. But yeah, go check. Go. I think the best thing to do is go to their Facebook or Twitter, Pop Cult Prod, for both, and then you can find the links to their content that way. It's good stuff, as always. I think that's it, Jimmy. So with that being said, yeah, thank you for joining me, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us in the room, and thank you for watching this on demand. Until next week, thank you for joining us. Please take care, and goodbye.